So this unit or this lesson is on finding the best buy. So finding the best price, basically. Very similar process to looking at unit price, because in this situation, you're looking at, oh, you might find 2 boxes of cereal. One is maybe a larger size than the other. And now you want to look at, well, what is the best price? Like, should I buy the bigger box for X amount of dollars, or should I buy the little box for a different price? So you have to go back to finding the cost per one. So it might be per 1 gram, per one whatever. You're going to find that unit cost for each of the items, and then you can look to see which one is a cheaper, better price. So let's look at this example. We've got Laner Corner Store wants to buy tomato seedlings. Wholesaler A sells 30 plants for $55.95, and wholesaler B sells 35 plants for $62.50. So now we want to find out where should we buy those tomato seedlings? Should we go to the wholesaler A or B? Which one has a better buy overall? Which one's selling? If we had to buy these, we want to figure out per tomato seedling, so per plant, how much is one plant at each of them? And then from there, then we can look and see, oh, well, this one has a cheaper per plant price than the other. So that would only make sense. You would go with that product. So in this case, you're going to essentially set up, we've got wholesale A and we've got B. So we've got to look at finding the unit price for each one of these. So in A, we've got 30 plants for $55.95. So same thing, you're going to set up your dollar amount over how many items you have. And we'll set ourselves up a proportion to go ahead and solve this. So we know we've got $55.95 for 30 plants. We want to figure it out for one plant. So we're going to do that process. And then over in B, same thing. If we're doing dollars to items, we're going to go $62.50 over 35 plants. So again, we're pricing it per item. So we're going to set ourselves up those proportions and we can go ahead and solve. So in the first instance, we're going to have 30x is equal to $55.95. And I'm going to divide both sides by 30. So $55.95 divided by 30. I'm getting per tomato seedling, it would be $1.865. Again, if we're looking at dollar price, this 5 is going to bump this 6 up. So the cost per a tomato seedling from wholesaler A is $1.87. Now let's do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to take the 35x is equal to $62.50. So if I take the $62.50 divided by 35, I'm getting x is equal to 1785. So in this instance, again, I'm dealing 2 decimal places. This is a 5, so it's going to bump that 8 up 1 spot, which means I'm going to have it as 1.79. So now we know what we've got going on here. The cost for a seedling at A is $1.87. At B, it's $1.79. So clearly, in this instance, it says these are the unit prices. So this is per tomato seedling, which has the better buy? Well, in this instance, B has a better buy. Now, what factors might you consider? Well, I guess it depends on what do the tomato seedlings look like? Are they well looked after? Do they look like strong, healthy plants? You might want to consider that. Maybe you only have an order for 30 plants. So you might go in this direction instead of having extra plants. Maybe you don't sell a whole bunch, so then having those extra might not be worth it. What if you don't sell them? So then really you could be spending more money in the long run if you can't get rid of those plants, right? So some other things to consider, but if we're just looking in terms of price right now, Wholesaler B has a better buy for those tomato seedlings. Okay, here's another example. And this is always bigger is cheaper. That's not always the best case scenario, right? Like, don't always think that buying in bulk, yes, it may seem like you're getting the better buy in the process, but don't always assume that that's the case. So let's look at this. You've got 450 sheets of paper for $6.50, or you've got 800 sheets of paper for $13.70. Let's figure it out. Which one is a better buy in this instance? So you've got two pieces of information here, two things that we're going to try and figure out. So in order to do this, you are going to want to set up two individual unit pricing proportions and then go ahead and solve per sheet, basically. So again, we're going to go dollars over items. And in this case, if we're looking at the first one, the 450, we're going to look at $6.50 for 450 sheets. We want it for one. We want to know the cost. And then the other side of this is you've got for $13.70 for 800 sheets. And we want to know there as well, cost per one. So now we will set up and go ahead and cross multiply. So in this case, I'm going to take the 650 and it's going to get divided by the 450. So 650 divided by 450. Okay, so now I'm getting X is equal to 0.014. So that I kind of give you the 3 decimal places. Again, we want 2 decimal places. 4 is less than 5. So this stays at a unit price of 1 cent. All right, let's go over to the other side. The other one I'm going to have as 800x times 1370. And again, I'm going to take and divide both sides by 800. And I get that 1370 divided by 800 gives me 0.017. So in this instance now, if I'm going 2 decimal places, but the third one is larger than 5, so it's going to bump up that 1 to a 2. So in this instance, I'm going to have this as 0.02. So which one is a better buy? Well, definitely this one is cheaper per sheet, right? This is per sheet of paper. So in this case, you would want to go with the smaller packaging of paper because you're getting a better buy on it. And if you think about it, looking at it, well, even if I doubled this price, if I doubled $6.50, that would get me to $13. And I would get, while doubling the sheets of paper, I would get 900 sheets of paper. So just even by looking at it, you can tell that, oh yeah, it's a better buy, right? But this gives you the proof that it is. That's it. That's all there is to best buy pricing. So now you can go work on your practice.